So most people see the success now, but they didn't see the season where I got evicted from my apartment, my car got repossessed, and at one point I couldn't even afford to buy my daughter a pair of shoes. She came home one day and was like, "Dad, my feet hurt." And I didn't have the money. And man, as a man and a protecting provider, that actually broke me down. And there's no feeling like that. And the crazy part is, all of this started with me having an idea taking out trash. And just to give you a backstory, some of you know, or some of you may know that back in 2016, I started a valet trash business while I was working a full-time job, sales job in the car dealership. And at the time, I was making about $120,000 a year. And to be quite honest with you, most people thought I was crazy to even consider leaving that career. I even had a mentor in the car business, and he was like, "Man, you're gonna ruin your life, kid. You're really talented at this. Why would you jeopardize this?" And what he didn't understand is I just had this burning desire. I thought it was a great idea, but he didn't support the dream. So I had to stand on my own too and do what I felt in my heart. So crazy part was our very first property was only 54 units, and I think our first contract, we were making about $1,023 a month. You know, nothing glamorous, nothing flashy. And, you know, I'd work 10 to 12 hours at the dealership, and then I would go run trash routes afterwards. And I did that day after day for about 2.5, 3 years. And at one point, we worked one contract, actually the first contract we had for about 18 months until we landed our second contract, which was October of 2017. I'll never forget it. And that project actually changed everything for me mentally because it showed me that growth was possible. We got the contract, and it was actually in our hometown, which is great, in Murfreesboro, about 30 minutes from Nashville. And eventually we ended up building the relationship with one of the largest management companies in the world, which is Greatstar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those guys, but shout out to Greatstar. And that was a major breakthrough for us. And on top of that, we ended up connecting with a major developer in our city. And they trusted us enough to give us an opportunity. And we ended up getting all of their past contracts and their future deals. They were a major developer of apartment complexes in the area. But even with all that momentum, the hardest season of my life came after I walked away from my six-figure sales career to pursue the business full time. Sorry. And that's when everything got hard for me financially. Like I said, with the car repossessions, family being evicted, I remember when we got evicted, I had to move in with my in-laws. We were eating rice and eggs about 4 days a week. Obviously, with my daughter coming home and I couldn't afford her shoes because her feet hurt, man, that stuff broke me down, and I just didn't have the money to buy it. And it was a really, really, really rough time for my family and I. And as a man and as a father, that really broke me down mentally. And I remember driving Uber just to try to survive and to make ends meet. But honestly, that season changed my relationship with God completely, because it was one of those type of things when you're the first person around you trying to build something at a high level, it can get very lonely. And there weren't many people I could talk to that would understand the amount of pressure I was under. So I had to lean on God in a way I'd never done before. And despite everything, I still refused to quit. And then it happened, COVID, 2020, when the world was in disarray. Everything actually exploded for us at this point. And when most people viewed the difficult season of the pandemic, that was our breakout year. And today, we're servicing over 30,000 units across 6 states, from Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North and South Carolina. And our annual revenue is over $3 million annually. But the biggest lesson that I learned isn't even about money. It's when you focus on quality over quantity, you're in the game. Make sure you always keep your word and never underestimate the power of word of mouth and relationship, especially in this industry, because your reputation will open doors that marketing never can. So if you're in a difficult season right now, don't quit too early. I know it can get rough, but sometimes the season that feels like it's breaking you is actually building you into the person that you prayed to become. And if this story impacted you in any way, I'd like for you to subscribe for more entrepreneurship, leadership, faith, and real business content. I'm your guy, and I'm going to give it to you.